So the streets are talking, Victor.
Hey,
Get him, daddy.
don't you walk on me.
Yo,
Hey, what's going on, man? How are you?
what's up, man? How you doing?
Doing good. Just freaking running around, man. How's everything going?
Everything's going good, man. I appreciate you calling in.
Yeah, of course. Is the audio okay? I'm just on the AirPods right now. Is that all right?
Yeah, that's fine. That's all good.
Okay, let me know. I just never know. Sometimes I feel like they work well, and sometimes they're like spotty. So if it's bad, just tell me.
Okay, no problem. Where are you based out of? Florida?
Yeah, in the Keys right now, man.
Oh,
Just
nice.
but not unfortunately, but I've been like basically doing half the stuff in the Everglades and half the stuff down here, which is great because you can, go between both, but depending on weather and depending on what we got going on, but it's just a lot traveling back and forth. And a lot of the stuff in the swamp is like, I get back super late at night and it's just like a lot of running around, but it's all good. How you guys doing?
I'm doing good, man. So, for our fans, so what exactly is it that you do? Like, how do you make a living off of this wildlife thing?
Yeah, I mean, a lot of it has to do with video views and getting sponsors and kind of like running, I guess, different channels is the thing too, is as far as like, YouTube and Instagram and TikTok and Facebook we're getting into now. And like, there's just I guess Twitter as well too. And it's like, there's a lot of different ways you can. There's people that are gonna, an advertiser might pay you. There's a company. There's like, like I used to do it for a place that would just pay me to make the videos and they kept everything. And that was great because there's different advantages to that. You don't have to sell your own ads. You don't have to do whatever, even though I did sell my own ads sometimes, but didn't get anything for that. But anyways, it's like you can do it and then there's less stress on that front. And sometimes they would pay for, the costs of filming it, which is great. Then there's, like doing it on your own, you get to keep everything, but you got to do the entire thing yourself, which is, as I found out over the last year or two, can be very stressful compared to having a sales team do it. When you're doing the sales calls, I think sometimes it comes across as more genuine and more, the connection's easier to make with a sponsor because you're the one who they're talking to. But that's a skill that's very different than catching giant sharks or snakes. So
Right,
it's
right.
been six of one, half dozen of the other. It's like sometimes you're so dialed in, and I mean sometimes you catch something so big or crazy or get a cool video that people come to you, and sometimes that makes me want to just focus on that, and sometimes you got to grind and work the phones and everything. So I mean, a ever evolving thing, I would say, is how I would say how to make a living doing it. I mean, you got to study the algorithms. You got to study what social media stuff is, shifting towards what, and that's been a huge thing. Since I started the Varsal Outdoors account, the way to grow on a lot of platforms was you would get tags, you would get promoted from bigger places and different things like that. Now, over what has now been since 2016, 17, when I started that page, now it's all algorithm based where a tag may not do much. The algorithm, if your video and stuff gets pushed to larger accounts, is kind of going to determine whether you're going to grow or not. And it's fascinating because you could be making the same exact videos and have the same talents or skills, and it's a completely different way. Like you got to grow completely differently. So that is fascinating too. It's been in my advantage recently because, I used to think as it was the only way you could grow is getting on a giant platform and having them put you on. And now it's almost this, democracy process where anyone can get their stuff to grow because, tiny accounts are growing huge. And because the algorithm decides it's like an interest based social media thing. So I just think it's fascinating, but it's funny studying that's a completely different skill set than catching snakes and sharks and, bonefish and tarp. It's like, it's just an all encompassing thing. I guess to answer your question of how do you make a living doing it? It's hard because anytime you're doing something that's fun or that people like doing, the competition is going to be way harder. If I was doing, shingles on, Southwest Florida shingle market, I'm sure that's like, that it may not be as competitive as trying to get paid doing animal stuff. So it's like, I mean, I'm sure that's a hard market too. I'm just saying, I think the rule goes, the more boring a job, the easier it is to make money a lot of times, it seems like. You know what I mean? So
Yeah.
when you're doing cool, exciting stuff, I mean, I'm sure you guys know, like I grew up just doing fishing stuff. Like as you guys do all, fishing stuff, everyone wants to fish and do that. It's hard to make a living fishing or doing charters or doing fishing content because everyone in the world likes fishing and wants to do that. So it's tougher than it seems sometimes, but I really don't think I could do anything else because I just love it so much. And anytime I've done even slightly other stuff in the past, all I wanted to do was this. So it's worth it to me.
Yeah. Hey, everyone. Before we dive into today's episode, I want to tell you about something special that we've built at the Brooklyn Fishing Club. Our new membership program is live, and it's the best way to support the podcast and get some incredible perks. When you join, you'll unlock 2 bonus podcast episodes every month, 20% off all gear in the shop, and even a free Brooklyn Fishing Club hat and t-shirt just for signing up. It's only $100 for the year, and it connects you with one of the strongest fishing communities out there. Head to brooklynfishingclub.com and join today. So do you do everything, or do you have like a manager, or how does that work?
I have a manager now. Shout out to my manager, Carolyn. But I pretty much do everything right now. We're in the process of hiring someone right now that I cannot wait. It's going to be the most, oh my God, it's going to make my life so much easier. But this entire time I've been doing everything, even at Barstool. It's funny, in my 3rd year, like it's funny how things work, right? Everyone wants to help you or, have someone film or edit. But once you've already done it, like when you're trying to do it at the beginning, nobody's going to help you because it's just funny how it works. Like once you've already done it yourself and done the whole thing, then everyone comes around. Oh, now we'll get someone to help you film and edit. But like, it's funny when you need it the most, no one wants to help. Or I guess the other option is, I guess if I could almost give someone advice from, I would say make money doing something else and then hire somebody to do it, because like when you don't have the money and no one wants to help you because they've never seen it happen. Like you need proof of concept. Like I filmed the full first season of Outdoors for Barstool with my mom filming, my buddy Freaky Pete, like all these random people. And then this guy Logan helped me honestly towards the end once we got a little more like legitimate. He's actually one of my good buddies. It's like funny because then when we put it out, they're like, oh, well, now you can do this all the time. It's like, yeah, dude, I had to do it with my mom film in the beginning. And it's funny, like now, I'll have really talented people now that I'm very grateful to know. But it's like, it's just such a, I think anytime you're trying to film something that looks good, because I'm of the opinion, I know a lot of people like self-film and vlogging stuff, and like that's honestly more of the style than what I like doing anyways. Like, kind of the YouTube first person, like I guess not even first person, like where people are filming themselves, with the camera turned around, has kind of become the way to do it now. And like I see people like giant YouTube people, with millions and millions of fans doing it now. But I don't know, for some reason, when it comes to wildlife and outdoor stuff, I'm came up watching Steve Irwin and all these people on Discovery Channel and Animal Planet. That's what it's supposed to look like to me in my brain. So a lot of times you need a camera person, right? And it's like you got to either pay for that or have somebody that is willing to believe in you and help you do it. And man, that's tough to get people to do stuff because, you're in it in an ocean or a swamp where there's bugs everywhere. It's like, it's just tough. So I guess I would say, yeah, you're going to have to do it all yourself for a long period of time. And it ain't going to be easy because like I said, filming and not even just filming, say that when I get my mom to film it, you have to be a director too, where I'm like, okay, this is what it should look like. here's how to start the camera, or you just start it and say, point it here. And then you got to kind of move and do the stuff. And then editing is a completely other skill than filming it, another skill than being on camera. And also this has nothing to do with actually knowing the animals and learning how to find them. It's like,
Right. Yeah.
it's an all encompassing thing, dude. So it's like, I guess the biggest thing I would say to anyone that's like doing it is just, you got to be like, not shameless, but what's the word? Like just a dog. Like you got to be a junkyard dog. You got to edit the shit till sometimes I'll get in a flow of editing. I stay up till 5 a.m. doing it. The next day, you got to be ready to go and be thinking of stuff. It's like, you just got to have like no boundaries of like what you will or won't do to be able to get it done. Cause no one's going to do it for you. It's freaking hard, man. It's hard. But when it works, it's the coolest thing in the world because you're showing people these really amazing animals and, adventures that you're on. But man, I'll tell you this too. I would say some of the most talented fishermen, outdoorsmen, like animal people that I know, I see some of these guys out there doing it, filming it themselves, editing it themselves, and some of them aren't even the ones who are getting the most views and things. And I know who's really the best at it and like good at it, and it's not the people always that are getting the most credit. So that's another thing too. It's not like a fair process, It's like there's so many talented, smart people that just like it's a very crazy game. That's all I'll say. And I think everybody knows that too. I mean, I'm sure people that are like wildly talented fishermen that are not always getting what they should be getting from it. Like
Yeah.
being good at YouTube and being good at podcasts and videos is not the same skill as being good at all the stuff. So like, and like to their credit, some people are good at maximizing what they have, So it's all like a bunch of different skills, and like kind of like when they used to have like on like a football player on like Madden or something, where it's like maybe some dude's 99 at promoting and 30 at fishing, but maybe that guy's gonna beat the guy who's 99 at fishing and 10 at promoting, So
Yeah. Right.
it's all a weird wheel of skills. I don't know, man, and I don't even have it figured out. That's just kind of what I've seen,
Yeah. Definitely. Definitely. So, when you first started, it was all you, camera, editing, everything, or did you kind of have a partner that you worked with?
Well, this time after I've left to do it on my own, I've had a lot of people help me that I'm super grateful for. I've gone between like it's funny. You go and sometimes I'll have someone like my buddy filming. Like, I mean, now with the stuff I'm trying to do, I have had someone filming me because I just think that looks better. Because I don't know what it is. Maybe it's just my brain, but I think it looks more professional and better doing that. And I'm not as good of like, I've filmed a bunch of stuff filming myself, but I feel like I look awkward and weird on it. Like when I'm doing it, like sometimes I'll go in some of these, like I hike back and like went on my bike way back to this place and everybody's, I filmed it all myself. And I just watch it and I'm like, I don't know if it's my demeanor's different. I don't know what it is. So I personally like having someone, but then you're limited by always like sometimes, you just want to go fish or do stuff yourself or whatever. And the thing that's tough is like you're either going to be paying for it, which a lot of times you're doing animal, nature, fishing, hunting, you know, outdoor stuff, trying to find snakes. Oh my God, we'll go 10 hours without having one thing happen. And if you have a camera person, you're paying for that. They don't like charge you only when you catch something. They charge you when they're there. So it's like
Yeah.
that's something that I've learned where it's like, oh my God, it is expensive. I will say when I was doing season like 2 of Barstool and we had a paid camera person the whole time, oh my God, I didn't realize how expensive. Like it's nice when someone else, the company is providing a camera person. That is a luxury that when you're doing it on your own, dude, it's not like I had like a ton of money to be doing this. When you hire the camera guy and it's on you, there's no company, there's no nothing. You are the company. Like it's funny, like you'll talk to the camera guys, they'll say, well, what's your budget? I'm like, brother, it's just my bank account. Like that's all, you know what I mean? It's not like I have a budget. Like my money that I'm paying for chicken breasts and vegetables out of is the same budget that I'm paying the camera dude. You know what I mean? So it's
Yeah.
like, especially at the beginning, like now, as you build more stuff and if you get sponsors and business partners, there's ways to alleviate it. But like I said, people only want to help and do this stuff a lot of times once you've shown that it can work, because that's just human nature, and I get it. I'm not complaining. So a lot of times, especially the beginning, I would edit it. I would have to do, man, I've sat on Adobe Premiere for, I don't even know, it's got to be hundreds for sure, even this in the last few months, thousands of hours total. And it's like, I never learned how to edit from any person. Like, I kind of just do it ragtag. And it's like, it's not like I'm that fast or good at it. So, and also when you go to put it out, nobody cares that you edited it yourself. Nobody cares. They want to watch a good, quick, no lulls. Like, they want the graphics to look good. It's like, there's no like charity when it comes to people's attention span, right? Like,
Right.
it has to be good. And like, if you're going to do it yourself, it has to look the same as people who are having professional editors. So it's like, because at the end of the day, the most democratized process maybe that there is like human attention. No one's going to sit there and watch a video or a podcast or an Instagram thing because they feel bad for you. It has to be good. You know what I mean? So yeah, I've done a lot of it myself. I've had some very talented people that I've also been super grateful to work with. Like, dude, this guy, Connor Gallagher, that I filmed some stuff with in California, and he filmed this Great White stuff with me. Oh my God, man, this guy, it's so funny. He went from filming with me 1 week, and then he filmed this Planet Earth thing. He had Obama narrating. I said, bro, the budget between this production and that had to be maybe the greatest gap of any two camera people.
Yeah.
Like, he had Tom Hanks narrating one of these things, because they're doing that, like, I think it was like something like all the national parks and Planet Earth. I'm like, dude, like, that is this guy he is so talented. It's crazy. He's filming in Antarctica, these orcas and stuff. Like, so, and it's fun too, like when you're doing it yourself, you end up meeting people, I think, along the way, especially in wildlife fishing, outdoor stuff. Some of these people are doing stuff that is so cool. It's like you end up kind of crossing paths with some really, really talented, crazy people that it's humbling too, because you're like, damn, dude, I thought I was good at this stuff. This guy's way better than me, So it's just like fishing too, dude. I'm sure you fish with people where you're like, holy crap, they're like, I got a lot to learn, It's just, it's really cool.
Definitely. Have you gotten a chance to work with some of these people that you've looked up to?
Yeah, honestly, it's weird because, I think the craziest thing is, as you get into it more, you end up meeting people that, I guess it's more accessible in this day and age too. I would say is the most accessible it's ever been, because, with social media, if you can get views or get, people to watch stuff, these bigger people that I used to look up to and quite literally be sitting in my room in Chesterfield, Missouri, like watching on TV, I've gotten to fish with or do stuff with, and it's really crazy. Like, I literally remember watching Mike Iaconelli, like, in the Bassmaster, like this guy was like a god to me, and I got to fish with him, and it was one of the coolest things, because like, the thing about Mike Iaconelli, yeah, he was like funny and he was boisterous and loud and all this stuff. This guy might be the best fisherman I've ever seen. It's like, it's funny because obviously the brand and who he is as a person made him even bigger. But dude, I'm not even kidding. I would say Skip Nielsen's still, in my opinion, just personally, my favorite, best fisherman I've ever seen, because I've just seen him do things that defied logic. But I would say Mike Iaconelli's right up there. We were fishing in this place called Jurassic Park in Florida, this Bass Lake in Kenansville. Oh my God. I think like we were like flipping on these lily pads. I think Mike Iaconelli caught more like 5-6 pound bass back to back to back casts. He would tell me and be like, there's like a couple different types of lily pads. He's like, these ones, it's like a different species of lily pad. He's like, this is where they're sitting. And like, he knew, like, I'm talking, they're a slightly different color of green. And he's like, this is where they're sitting on. And I'm like, I was just learning every second I'm on the boat with him. And dude, I'm not kidding. I'm a pretty good fisherman compared to everybody I know. I don't know in my life. Ike was beating my face in, dude. Like it was insane. This guy, I'm talking every cast. He looked like he's talking to you, not paying attention. Back to back casts, like 6 pound bass. I'm like, I've never seen anything like it. And that was one of those definitely like moments where you're like, there are some people that are just transcendent. It's something. I'm like, this guy is on a different level. So that's one that I would say, Mike Iaconelli. I mean, dude, he's that dude, in my opinion. I would say getting to hunt with Steve Ranella was pretty crazy too. Like I used to watch Meat Eater every single day, like in my apartment in New York City. Like, especially when I was living in New York, I'd watch Meat Eater as like an escape of like, oh my god, like it was just so fun. And then hunting with him was pretty surreal too, because it's just like you're watching the show, only like the show talks back to you. Like that was weird. And it's not even just like when we were filming, like being in this like lodge at night with him and talking, and we're like eating squirrels and stuff that were deep frying. Like it was very surreal, because like, and he's just like a great dude. We were just like sitting and talking or watching TV. It's like, I think the weirdest thing is like doing stuff with these people that you've watched their shows or seen them on TV. It's like it's really just like normal dudes, and a lot of them got to where they are by being super normal and cool and down to earth guys. So I think that's one of the coolest parts of it is like, you just like end up realizing too that there's no difference between like, I think this is another thing too. If I could have told someone who's starting out or when I was like first ever fishing growing up, it's like there's no difference between like they just learn just like you did. Like you think they have some magic formula. They don't. They just like did it a million times and are like good at capitalizing off what they've learned. So I don't know. I think it's really fascinating. There's so many people. I'm trying to think of more, but honestly, in Alamorada, like that's kind of where like down here in the Keys in Alamorada, in my opinion, is kind of I guess the whole Keys, but Alamorada to me is like really a capital of a lot of the saltwater like sport fishing that I've grown up looking up to these guys. And like I would say that's a lot of the people that I've gotten to know and become friends with. It's surreal to me because as I was a kid, I looked up to these guys as like, it's like when you're a kid and you go to like a NHL game or like a MLB game and like they're just larger than life. I think that's like maybe not as big names, but like guys that I know down here where I'm like, I can't believe that I can talk to these guys and be like, they know when I walk up to them, they say, "Hey, Ben," I'm like, "Oh my God, that's so cool to me now," because they're just so good at what they do. And it's so competitive down here. There's hundreds of captains that all of them are extremely talented and know what's going on. So I think that's cool. I don't know.
Yeah, you're definitely in the right spot, man. Definitely. There's a lot going on there.
It's just a lot to I think one thing about outdoors that's always humbling to me is like you could be the best tarpon fisherman that there is, and you could go up and try to catch stripers in New York and you could have no idea what you're doing. Like there is so many like nuances to every not only types of fish but fisheries. You know what I mean? Like catching stripers in Montauk is different than it is in, Delaware or something. It's just crazy how like different from even from here to like up in Miami or like West Palm Beach or something is different than Isla Mirada or on the west coast of Florida. It's just like it's really humbling, dude. You end up learning how much you don't know. You know what I mean? It's crazy.
Yeah, definitely. So with stuff like the Mike Iaconelli thing, the Steve Ranella thing, how do you go about setting stuff like that up? Like, do you just reach out to them and hope they get back to you? How do you line that up?
I mean, it depends. Like on those two cases, I believe he had this show called Fish My City. I'm pretty sure this was 2018, I would guess. And they actually came through. I forgot whether they contacted Barcelona or something. And him and his wife, who I love, Becky, dude, they're just like down to earth people. That's the craziest thing is like some of these dudes who I like looked up to or thought were really, like when I was growing up, I'm like, this guy's larger than life. They're just the most normal, genuine people. And I think that's why they get where they were. But they came and we did like a podcast and we just hit it off and talked for a long time. I think he was like on a press tour. And then it was honestly 2 years later that we ended up fishing together during COVID. And I just stayed in touch and would text him and all this stuff and send him stuff. And that's how that one came up. I mean, a lot of them I would just see if they followed me on Instagram, or we would like talk back and forth. And then you just kind of say, or like I would just like maybe we follow each other on Instagram, and then I'd be like, see them in Florida or something. I'd be like, hey, dude, like I'm down here. If you want to fish or film something, let me know. I think that's kind of the most common way. Or if you've like, or like this, you know, like doing the podcast or doing like some sort of easy to connect format. Cause like if we've done a podcast or had like a conversation, you're way more likely to like go fish together than like someone random off Instagram, you know? So that to me is a really good way. Cause like even like this, it's super easy to do a phone call or a Zoom call or whatever. And all of a sudden it's like kind of natural. As you know, it's like I think it's tough because when it comes to fishing or hunting or doing animal stuff, there's a natural tendency to be like protective, I guess, of your spots or of your time and like who you want to fish with. And it's like, I think there's an apprehensiveness to like, yeah, I don't know if I really want to, like, even if you like somebody or you're friends with them online, it's different to go out and do it. So I think once you connect and know somebody's like good people, it's a lot easier to kind of like make that thing. The Ranella one was crazy because I actually went up. I got engaged to in Montana and like was in. It was a crazy thing, and I'm not married, so it didn't end up. It was didn't end up working out. But I got engaged this week, and then I was with all these meat eater people. This guy Sam Lundgren. I was like, dude, let's go fish, and we filmed the fly fishing episode. Like, why I went up there and like we filmed all this stuff in Montana. It's right by their office, and once I filmed that with them, like I don't know if like when I posted it, this guy was just like a guy. He worked at Meat Eater, but he wasn't like the main guy. Like Steve was the main guy. He just worked there, and we did. He was a great dude. We filmed this thing, and then I guess when we posted it or something, Steve followed me and was like, I think him or his wife or somebody reached out and was like, hey, like Steve wants to film something with you. Like that's just kind of how it got on their radar. And I'll never forget, I was sitting at this place called The Nest in Islamorada at the Green Turtle. And he texted me and he was like, hey, it's Steve. Like, and like sent some picture of his kid. And he was like holding a beaver. And he's like, you play your cards right. Like, this could be you or something. And I was like, dude, what is going on? Because it was crazy. Like, I've literally watched every episode of that, especially back then. And I get a text from Steve now. I'm like, what the hell's going on? And that was pretty crazy. And then we just started texting. I'm like, dude, you say the word, like I'm there, you know? Because like when a guy is that big and kind of has it going on, like he has it going on, it's like I'm like, dude, you let me know where do I got to be? Let's do this. And we just started talking, and then I went up there, and I'm trying to think of the first time. It was in November, and then I mean, same thing. I think once we like talked and hung out and we were driving in the car together. That was crazy too. We're like driving in the car to these shoots and we were trapping beavers, and then we went deer hunting. I met his wife and kids and we were like at their house, you know, eating dinner. I'm like, that's once you do that, I think especially in like the fishing kind of like outdoors community, you got to like be a good person, because I think more than anything, yeah, we're making videos and doing whatever, but people don't have tolerance as they do for like when I was at Parcel, we would do like go to Sirius headquarters in like Manhattan. You do these interviews with like we would be there and like Seth Rogen would come in the room, or like Howard Stern would walk by, or like I'm trying to think of the most famous people, like Kenny Powers was. It's like, but it's all media, dude. It doesn't matter. Like someone could be, you don't even have to like them. It's just it's everyone knows it's a very transactional thing. I think when you're fishing and like doing stuff with people, you gotta like pass the test way more, because just the way that the community is, no one has time for like slimy people like that, you know? So I think like we would just be hanging and talking, and honestly not talking about hunting, not talking about fishing, just like life stuff. And I think that's how that stuff comes about, because once I did stuff with Steve or Ike and Ellie or a lot of these, in Islamorada, like Skip Nielsen set me up with Nick Stanzik and all these people because I had fished with him for years. He knew I was a real person. Like, I think in fishing and outdoor stuff, it comes from connections. If someone puts you in a group chat, like, hey, this is my buddy. You guys should, get up together. Like, I met a dude a little while ago that literally someone put us in a group chat and I caught this giant snake. And I'm like, bro, I had no one to come film. I was by myself. I'm like, dude, I got a 16-footer. I'm like, I'm off, this road, like in the middle. And he came and just met up with me in the middle of the night at like 2 a.m. And like, that's how I met this dude, just because I'd been recommended him from someone else that we had a mutual friend. It's just like, that's just kind of how it goes. It's like one-off connections and being a good person, like not screwing people over or being a douchebag, I think is a way that you just end up meeting people. It's weird. I don't know. There's no like one rule book,
Yeah. No, I agree. It's definitely really important. It's also about opportunity, like that guy had an opportunity. You have a 16-foot snake that you caught. He's got an opportunity to come film it and he's going for it, So it's kind of
like, I think also that kind of stuff where if someone's like I've had times where people would be like, hey, like we're going to do this thing, like whatever. And I'll just show up and, it might not be convenient or you might have to drive a little extra far, but it's like, that's how you make the connections. And like, it's like when people are in town or something, like taking them out. Hey man, like I saw you're in like, I forgot like last year, like okay, perfect example. Like Forrest Galante is like a dude who does a bunch of Shark Week stuff, like Discovery Channel. I had done an interview with him when he was in New York, like years ago. And then I was in California and I was like, hey, bro, I'm like in California, you want to do something? And he just took me out to this place in Santa Barbara. And then we went and looked at great whites together. And then like, like I drove out of my way to go hang with him. But then that's how I met Brad Leone because I think Forrest posted something and then Brad Leone followed me like 5 minutes after. And it's like, I would have never, and Brad Leone's like one of my favorite dudes, like a very funny, like, and that's a guy that then I went and flew up there. I went to his house in Rhode Island or Connecticut, and like it was right near Rhode Island. And we did an interview in his farmhouse, like just me and him. Then when he was down here, we went and did this iguana thing. Then we went out to dinner and hung out. It's like, it's all like one thing leads to the next. But it's like, I think being committed to like advancing kind of relationships is how it goes, at least in my experience,
Yeah, definitely. Definitely. It's funny because I've actually had Ike and Ellie and Brad on the show. I've had Brad on twice.
He's just such a real dude, don't you think? Like it's like
Absolutely.
that's
100%.
talk about a guy that lived in Brooklyn doing like that's crazy too. When he was telling me those stories of like, man, like it's just I respect how he kind of like made his entire existence just through same stuff, just being in the right place and like being willing to do it. I think that's a lot of it too, is like a lot of times people are not willing to do stuff. Like, and even when I first started at Barstool, it's like I was just filming Dave and filming people in the office. It's like it wasn't what I wanted to do necessarily, but I just was there and doing it. People were trying to like punch me and fight me, just from whatever. And it's like I just was willing to do it and stand in there, and you know what I mean? It's just kind of how it goes. It's just one thing leads to another. I mean, it's really like the biggest thing I've learned is you can never, ever, ever predict what is going to work. It's always one off from what you thought it was or whatever. And then you got to just be doing stuff, and action leads to action,
Definitely. Speaking of that, action leading to action, what actions led to you working at Barstool? How did that come about?
Honestly, it's a perfect example. I was making music videos, like rap videos, dude. Like it's like insane to even say out loud. Making rap videos, and then I put out 4 mixtapes, and wouldn't you know it, I'm sure like everyone's like, oh wow, like we never heard you. Yeah, nobody cared, like nothing. I'd be in the studio 12 hours, make all these songs for days and days, nobody cared. And maybe that was because I wasn't good, I don't know. But I would be in the studio making these things, and I'm like, dude, I gotta make something that people will care about. And I'm like, I would read Barstool because I just thought it was funny, and like, they had stuff that I was interested in. And I'm like, I gotta make a song that will get posted on Barstool. I don't know, that's just how my brain at that time. I'm like, and I tried to make a song. I'm like, what would they like have to post? So then I made this song called Young Pageviews, being like, oh, I feel like I'm like Dave back in the day. And then next thing you know, that led to me like, I'm like, wait, my dad's like, you should get, try to get hired there. I'm like, dude, I don't know. Like, that wasn't even really what I wanted to do. I wanted to be a famous rapper, like, which sounds so crazy. But that was how I made the music video. Was I'm like, I know, because in my mind, I was like, if I get posted on Barstool, I'm gonna get, because I guess like what I saw, people that did shows had a music video that had like 50,000 views or 100,000 views, and I'm like, if I get posted on Barstool, I bet you my video will have 100,000 views, and then I can go on tour and like, I don't know, I wanted to go on tour, which is so funny. Anyways, it got posted, and then it kind of like, in a weird way, like everyone's like, oh, you should try to work there. And it's funny because I had separately, it was kind of two like convergent paths of like, I wanted to do the outdoor stuff. And in my mind, I'm like, I know that Barstool does hockey, NFL, baseball. Like they had all these different podcasts and shows, but nobody was doing outdoors. And in my mind, I'm like, that's something that people who care about NFL are also going to care about fishing and animals and stuff. Like to me it made sense that they should have it and they didn't have it, and that's where I kind of like got the seed. But the way that Dave ever first knew who I was from me making this Young Pageviews music video. And then I used that. I'm like, hey, like he followed me and I'm DMing him 100 times, dude, let me come in for a meeting and I'm gonna tell you why you should hire me. Finally he's like, all right, like come in on this day. And that's when I pitched Barstool Outdoors. So it's kind of like same thing. Like I'm telling you, I didn't start out making music videos in 2010 or whatever, trying to like get a job at an outdoors thing. But by making music videos, I somehow opened the door to being able to pitch them this Barstool Outdoors thing. And then next thing you know, once I did that, I mean, then I walked in with a, wallaby and I'm like, hey, I want to do, this outdoor show. And Dave's like, what? You know what I mean? Like, I think he was just like, what's going on? And then once again, he's like, yeah, you can keep working on that, whatever. But this is what we have an opening for you doing this tool scenes thing. And I'm like filming people in the office, which I'm like, dude, I don't want to film, Trent eat his lunch, but that's what I was doing. And then I kept doing it and filming. I was filming every single thing of that first season in silence on the nights and weekends, trying to like not get fired for doing extra stuff. Cause I'm like, if I do it only on the weekends, and I would go to New Jersey, I'd go to, in Brooklyn, I'd film in, like Central Park, dude. I'm like, anything that I could do to try to get people to like, like I'm like, hey, where can I film and do stuff that I can, for zero, amount of money or whatever on my own dime. And then once I had enough, I'm like, okay, I'm going to put this trailer out. And then once the trailer came out, was the first time, I think it got 1 million views in the first like 12 hours. And, that's also because people were retweeting it and supporting. I think because they knew how much I had been working on it and how hard I had been like really trying to make it happen. And then next thing you know, I'm like, oh my God, all of a sudden this is becoming real. But it's like, it was never from what I thought it was going to start out being. It was just one thing after another and like just following down the path. It's almost like in those movies where like they're doing an investigation and they're following one witness and then they follow this. It's like, you just got to keep like digging and then eventually it just like uncovered. And next thing you know, I went from making what some would say were terrible white rapper music videos to all of a sudden I'm, catching a shark on camera or doing like, noodling or doing some sort of python thing. It's like that literally like me catching that 16-foot snake like a few weeks ago by myself started from me doing white rapper music videos in however long. It's like by some weird path it led to that. You know what I mean? So I don't know. It's crazy. It sounds like some sort of like
No, I get
crackhead
it, dude.
raving on the side of the street, but
Dude, it's actually ringing really true for me because my whole thing with Brooklyn Fishing Club, this whole thing started with a white rapper career as well.
so you get it, bro.
That didn't go anywhere,
white
but
rap
hey,
game,
we got to do some
bro.
cool things. You know, the coolest thing I got to do with it was I got selected to be on this mixtape with Be Real from Cypress Hill. So I got to rap with Cypress Hill and smoke weed with them. Yeah.
That's way further than I ever got, so I gotta tip my cap, dude. I gotta tell you, the white rapper game is
it's tough.
A ruthless game. It's hard,
tough,
dude. It's
dude.
a tough game. For every Jack Harlow and freaking Eminem, there's 10 million of.
There's a million of us out here where it just did work, and now look, I'm still on the mic though, so there you go. You know,
exactly, dude. Exactly. Like, and it's funny. Like, I mean, dude, it's a shameless thing. Like, it's, dude, I was having my mom film those music videos. Like, man, I'll tell you what, my mom filming outdoors things is way less embarrassing than her filming me, you know, lip sync song. I wouldn't even play, dude, I wouldn't even play the song out loud because I was so embarrassed, which, as you know, when you go to edit a music video, if the subject wasn't saying the words to the song, it's like impossible. It's almost worthless. But I was too embarrassed to play the song out loud because my mom was doing it. It was brutal, dude. I have never done a more like soul searching, you know, experience than being a white rapper, quite literally living in your parents' basement. Dude, it is the most humbling thing ever, dude. And Cypress Hill was nowhere near anything I did, dude. So I got you made it way further than me, dude.
The MySpace days, I was just blasting people. We had like a 6-track demo, and I was just blasting it out to people. And I guess they did like a money grab thing where they it was like $5,000 to do the song. I'll never forget that. And I was like,
it's crazy the things that you'll do when you're like music wise, especially. It's like, I remember this guy, dude. There was this thing. Dude, this is the funniest shit ever. I've never even told the story. There is this show in Toledo, Ohio, dude. Toledo. I got to go back and find. And I forgot who. I got to go back and look, bro. It was opening for like either Riff Raff. It wasn't even Riff Raff. It was somebody. I have to go back and look. Dude, it was the most down bad. I'm trying to think of who the rapper was. And they were selling, dude, listen to how messed up this is. As you just said, like a money grab, they were selling opening slots for like $2,000 or something. Dude, for like, I'm talking a 10 or 15 minute slot as an opener, which, bro, they probably were selling like 5 to 7 of these slots before. I forgot, bro, I got to go back and find who it was because, like, it had to be someone like, the most random thing, and it was like you were buying a 10-minute opening thing in Toledo, Ohio, to be the same on the same card as whoever. Dude, I'm trying to think. It was like someone who'd featured on like a song one time. Dude, it was so down bad. I have to, and I was gonna drive from St. Louis to Toledo, Ohio. Dude, think of how much money. And this guy who I had played hockey with was going to fork up. Dude, I had like $300 in my bank account this time. This guy who I played hockey with was like, he's like, I'm going to be your manager. He's like, I'm going to pay the $2,000 for you to open for this guy in Toledo. Dude, thank God I didn't do this, bro. I think the show got canceled or something at the last minute, like 5 minutes. Dude, I had T-shirts made called the Holy Toledo Tour. And it was like a joke because, dude, it was a joke because the only stop on the tour was Toledo. Like that, it was like a tour, but there was no other dates. Like I had no shows. We were gonna pay $2,000 to open for like Riff Raff. I might have been Riff Raff. Dude.
That's so crazy, dude.
Bro. And I'm not listen to what I'm telling you. I wasn't even the real opener. I was like the fifth guy before the opener to pay $2,000 to be on the same card. And dude, a Riff Raff Toledo, Ohio show, he probably doesn't even like, he's probably so like drunk he doesn't even remember a Toledo, Ohio show. I think that might be the lowest down level of like prestige that you can be on. And this guy was like, bro, if I pay this too. Also, my buddy was like, had like some random sales job. It's like he was like a music executive.
Right,
He was
right.
like,
Yeah.
he's like, I know this promoter. I'm gonna pay because like he had played college hockey in like Bowling Green or something. So like he must have known some like scummy promoter. Bro, when someone else like is paying $2,000 for you to open for Riff Raff, dude, it's as down bad as it gets, dude. And like,
No, it's
I think
rough.
the show got canceled, so thank God we didn't actually pay it. I was going to drive and get hotels to go do this,
Oh my
dude.
God.
Also, I had like maybe one song that anyone in my college had heard of. What was I going to play at the show? It was crazy, dude.
Dude,
I did shows for 5 people in Wisconsin.
Oh yeah.
I'm not kidding, dude. Shows where your soul, if I could have evaporated or been hit by a bus in the moment, I would have pressed the button. I will never forget standing on stage and looking on the stage. It was my girlfriend, maybe my buddy. Like, I'm talking 4 people. And when I tell you, like, I know people say, oh, I did shows for 6 people. No, I'm being dead serious. It was like my girlfriend, my friend, and like the person who was putting on the show. Like 4 people standing there staring at you. It's maybe the most soul crushing thing you could ever
100%,
do in your life, dude.
100%.
Like, I don't want to hear anyone tell me that they've been down bad until you've literally done a show for 4 people. And dude, the best is like, I did like 6 songs. Like, it's not like it was 5 minutes. I was doing it for 30 minutes. Like, this was going on for literally like, and the people standing there, oh my God, they got it worse than you. At least you're like performing. These people are standing there. It's not like they're dancing or rapping along. They are literally just staring at you, wishing they were somewhere else. It is just terrible, man. The white rapper game is the most ruthless game. I think I should have been like I'm trying to think of something that would be like easier. You could literally be like doing like I don't even know. There's
so many other things that you could do.
Dude, I think there's people like getting in shootouts, being like crack dealers that are like, damn, at least I'm not a white rapper, like standing on stage.
I'll tell you this. Sometimes the algorithm will. I have this thing with my brother Kyle where we'll share the worst music that the algorithm shows us. So like this one guy is fucking going off about being a rectangle. Send that to him. I'll see a lot of these like 40-something-year-old white rappers, and I swear to God, I'm like, oh my God, at least I knew when to call it quits. Like, thank God I'm not like a fucking 40-something-year-old white rapper. Like, still.
Well, dude, the problem is, I think the problem with not just the white rapper, but especially the music game, it is maybe the most intoxicating, like, one random person blows up from the dumbest stuff. And a lot of times, by the nature of it, the dumber the antics or songs or music videos end up working. But it's literally like that meme of like the guy who stops mining like right before and then he turns around. It's like, dude, like for every single one of me and you that we're like, all right, maybe this isn't. It's like you see someone blow up off of one song or one, like thing that works, and
Right.
It's like the most intoxicating fantasy because everyone thinks they're one song away. It's like
Right,
that.
dude.
There's a reason why the music
100%.
industry has been taking advantage of people for 100 years or probably hundreds. It's like every single person sees it working, and like also, dude, I think this too. There are levels of skill where someone's really better, but really like I think there's some people that are like wildly talented. There's also people that are blowing up that are not that much better than
100%.
like I'm not going to say me or you because I don't want to act like I'm sure people are going to be like, bro, you sucked. But it's like people that I knew, like I used to do songs with people back when I was doing it, that they were like really good. And I'd be in the studio like, dude, this guy's good. Like, how is he not blown up? And like the difference between that dude and someone who is making hundreds of thousands of dollars off it, the gap is not very big. And I think that's where it gets like for instance, bro, I played hockey my whole life. I have friends that are in the NHL now where like when I'll like mess around with them or play with them, I'm like, this guy is so much better than anybody that I know. And it's like you see why he gets $8 million a year. It's like when it comes to like rapping and entertainment, sometimes it's like sometimes the gap is like not as big as I'm sure there's people that think that when I was at Barstool, I'm sure there was people that were like, man, I've fished with this guy a million times. I think I'm funnier than him or better at fishing. Like I'm sure there was a million people who are like, this guy sucks. I'm better than him. And it's like I was, getting paid to do it. It's like there is like a very weird gap like that. And I think that that's why it's so intoxicating is like you see it up close and you're like, man, I could do this. And it's like, it's also the delusion is sometimes what makes people blow up. You know what I mean? Like, it's especially in rap, dude, like, or music. Like, how many people
Even the
have you
fishing
seen?
thing.
Dude, 100%. Like, how many people is it like? I mean, fishing it's all the same thing, dude. It's all like, bro, until I caught that 16-foot python the other day, I'm not kidding, dude. I had gone out there, I mean, hundreds and hundreds of hours just this summer and caught a lot of snakes and different stuff. And I love just being out there. I'm grateful for everything I find. But the biggest one I had found, 10, 11, 12 feet. And then out of nowhere, you get that 16-footer. And it's like, it's the same thing as like having a song blow up or people like something. It's like, there was no guarantee before I went out that night that was going to be there. And it's like, yeah, there's like an element of working and grinding. It's the same thing as fishing, dude. Like I have fished 10 million times and then randomly one day you'll find something or see something that is so crazy you've never seen before. And it's like, there's no guarantee before it. So there's kind of this weird rewarding of being delusional that actually is a real thing, which I think makes it even harder to like not chase delusions, because
Right. Yep.
it works sometimes eventually. And it's like, if you gave up, you would have never gotten there. And it's like, it's just so hard to kind of, I guess, rationalize between what's crazy and what's not.
Right. Hey, everyone. Just a quick break to remind you about the Brooklyn Fishing Club membership, because this isn't just another fishing club. It's a full experience. Here's what you'll get when you join. 2 bonus podcast episodes every month, 20% off all gear in the shop, a free hat and t-shirt when you sign up, guided trips, invite-only club events, online seminars with special guests, and access to VIP destination trips. All that for just $100 a year. That's less than a weekend tackle run, and it supports the podcast so we can keep bringing you stories from the water. Sign up now at brooklynfishingclub.com and become part of the crew. So do you feel like you're only as good as the last thing you catch?
I know, like in a day-to-day, yes. But I will say, like, when I caught this great white, which like it's coming out soon. The video, it's like, dude, when I caught that, I remember just being like, that or like the 16-foot python, or like, there's been certain things like I caught this giant sawfish where it's like, maybe I'm delusional, but it almost feels like a resume thing in my mind where it's like, and I think this with a lot of people, like when my buddy Nick Stanzik caught a 757-pound swordfish, I remember it's like in my mind, it's almost like having like a hit song or like a movie that like Leonardo DiCaprio will always have made Wolf of Wall Street or, The Departed or whatever. It's like Nick Stanzik will always have caught that 757, and the pictures are insane. And like anytime he goes somewhere, it's like that to me is like he did that. Like no matter, I don't even know, that might have been 2016 or 2018, but to me, it's like he is that dude. He did that. Like I know people that have caught crazy, like my buddy Chip Mike Love, who's caught the most great whites on rod and reel ever in human history. he's caught like a 16-footer, 15-footer. It's like, I think in fishing, in a weird way, it's like once you've done it, yes, you're always as good. Like, we want to see you do it again, but there's a certain like cachet of like when you've done certain crazy things. I don't know. It almost to me feels like you have like a resume piece of like you've caught this, this, and this, and done this. And once you've done it, you've always done it. Now, if you did it 20 years ago and you suck now, at some point, obviously, like maybe people aren't going to be like when you're doing like charters or like taking people out, or like if someone wants to come film with you and you can't replicate it. Yeah, like I know people, and I'm not going to say any names because I'm not trying to be negative, but I know people that have caught stuff or where I think we all know, I think they know in their heart that it was lucky, and it's, like you can find one crazy giant animal and maybe they weren't actually that good and they've never caught that many. So I think there's a level of that. But once you've done that, I mean, everywhere you go, when you talk to people, it's like, that's the guy that caught this or did this. And I think there's a certain level of that that's like, I think in fishing, it's almost like winning a Super Bowl or a Stanley Cup or something where it's like look at some of these coaches, dude, have been living all like Doc Rivers won an NBA title with the Celtics in 2008. He's had more embarrassing playoff defeats and failures since then, but he'll always be a guy that won a title. It's like, I think if you've caught a world record or like some sort of monster animal, I think, yeah, you're only as good as in your mind. Yeah. Oh, dude, the day after I caught the 16-footer, I'm out there. I got skunked the next night and I'm like pissed, like, man, like I thought I had it figured out. Yeah. In my mind, I'm always feeling like that. But I think there's a certain relief when you catch a giant animal or like a record or something like you catch a what, like 50-pound striper, some crazy, giant thing where you're like, I've always at least done that. Do you know what I mean? It's almost like a save point in a video game where you're like, no matter how much I can't catch him in the future, it's like, look at this picture. I did it. I know on some level I can do it. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
That's how I think of it. And maybe that's wrong, but I don't know. I think there's a certain, like when Mike Agnelli wins a Bassmaster Classic, it's like, dude, forever he will have done that. Do you know what I mean?
Absolutely. Definitely. Let's hear a little bit about this great white shark. Can you talk about that, or are you waiting for the video to come out?
No, I mean, dude, it was the craziest adventure. Basically, this guy Chip Michaelov has the permit to be able to target them on rod and reel because, as you know, they're endangered, they're protected, they're like a federally protected. Like I'm pretty sure you like go to jail or something if you were like targeting them before. Like obviously people have randomly caught them and like the rule is you're supposed to cut the line once you know what it is. I think that's like the technical, at least down here or whatever, because I don't think they want people messing with them, which listen, I support it. I understand the rules. Chip has a permit through the Atlantic White Shark Conservancy to be able to like, because he was catching and tagging them. They were like, listen, if you tag them and like, dude, these tags are like 15 grand or something. They're crazy. They're like, if you help us do this and get science, like data and all this stuff to be able to protect them, we'll put you on our permit. So when I first saw him catching them, I would be hawking this dude. I'm talking 2016, 2017, calling, texting, trying to book him, all this stuff. He would talk to me on the phone. I remember in 2018, I talked to him on the phone. I missed an entire family dinner. We talked for like 2 or 3 hours on the phone. And I thought, all right, I did it. I'm in with him. Because in my mind, I know there's a lot of like technical skilled things of catching a giant, permit on fly tailing. Like there's a lot of like hard fishing things. In my mind, I grew up loving Zane Grey, like Jaws type stuff. That to me was the pinnacle of like the coolest thing you could film or catch. And this was the guy that had the means to do it, the only guy. So I was like, oh my God, after we got off the phone, I'm like, I'm going to do it. Dude, years went by. He still wouldn't take me. I remember in 2020, I was sitting at my girlfriend's house in New Smyrna Beach, and he texted me and was like, dude, we might go tomorrow, whatever. And this is like in COVID. And like, he actually texted me the first time. It was 4 p.m. I'm in Manhattan at Barstool office. And he's like, hey, we're going to go tomorrow. we couldn't even drive there in the amount of time. He's like, we're leaving the dock at 6 a.m. We were in, like, I guess almost by Madison Square Garden is where the office was, in Manhattan. And I'm like, bro, we couldn't even book a flight to get to Hilton, and then we couldn't make it in time. And I was like, dude, like, I don't think we can, but, next time you ask soon. Dude, he iced me again. It was like a whole nother year, just to try to get this guy to take me. He's very selective. Like, it's like, you got to, like, almost be, like, dating this guy. Like, you got to be, like, checking in on him, calling him, texting him, doing all this stuff just to try to get him to take you out. Then in 2021, right after I had left Barstool, I was standing on the side of a canal in Delray Beach, like honestly, like west of there, trying to catch a clown knifefish. And he calls me, hey, we're going to go. There's this dead whale. We're going to go tomorrow morning at 6 a.m. If you want to go, be at the dock. Dude, it was 7 p.m. I'm in Florida. And I'm like, yes, I'll do it. I remember my fiance at the time, she told me, I was like, baby, what do I say? She said, because I'm like, dude, I'm in Florida. She's like, Ben, say yes. What are you talking about? Say yes. We'll figure it out. She's like, I'll drive you, do it. I'm like, okay. I told him yes. Dude, I had no idea what I was going to do. I called my buddy, Mikey Finneguer. I said, bro, do you want to, he lives in Miami. I said, bro, this is insane. Do you want to go try to catch a great white tomorrow? He's like, yeah, dude, sure. I'm like, the only thing is it's in South Carolina. He's like, what do you mean? I'm like, we're going to have to start driving like now. So he drives up dude, shout out to Mikey. He had his cameras. He's actually a New York dude originally from
I know Mikey. I know Mikey.
Yeah, dude, he's a crazy underwater. He gets, in there with all sorts of insane stuff. And like, I've seen him filming with bull sharks and all, like, stuff, eating stuff off the line. He's 5 feet away. I'm like, Mikey, you're going to get bit. Anyways, he drives up. He had his cameras all charged. His cards cleared, which just shows you too, like some of these people, that's just like a professional. You know what I mean? Like he was ready to go. There was no hesitation. He's like, dude, I'll be there. We drive up overnight, literally through the night to get there. We pull up to the dock. Mikey did not sleep 1 minute. And we pull up to the dock. We go out there. Dude, I was like there, but I almost felt like I was in like a dream because you're so tired. Like you haven't slept all night. Like I tried to sleep in the car. Mikey was driving. And next thing, like I didn't really sleep. You're sleeping in the car and you're driving. The sun's coming up. Next thing you know, we go out there, dude. There's this gigantic, I'm talking 60-foot long dead whale floating there. It was an Atlantic right whale, and there were these great whites and tiger sharks demolishing it. Dude, it was the coolest day and thing I've ever seen in my life. But the funniest thing was there were like a few smaller great whites there and like around the boat. We got the craziest footage ever, like ever. But we hooked one 1,500-pound great white, and it came off. And it's funny because we were driving back, and it was like the craziest thing because, I mean, it was the coolest day of my life. And I saw my first one. I'd seen him from the drone, but I saw my first one, from 5 feet away. But we're driving back down. I'm like, dude, I didn't catch one. Like, it was like this weird, like, mixture of emotions because I'm like, wait, my lifelong dream and goal was to, like, catch a great white. And here we are, we saw it. But I'm like, dude, I feel like the prophecy is not really, like, fulfilled. You know what I'm saying? So Chip told me, he's like, dude, come back and we'll try to catch one, whatever. So after the whale was all demolished and it sunk down, I went back a month later and we, left the dock at 4 a.m. We're chumming all day, 15 hours. Dude, we hooked a big tiger shark we caught, but we did not get one. And this was in April at this point, and the season's kind of like, it's over. It was kind of like a Hail Mary. Dude, he's like, we'll try again next year. I'm like, oh my God. I would be texting him every week, I'd be sending him stuff, talking to him, checking in. I'm like, Chip, let me know as soon as they're ready, Dude, it took an entire year. And a year later, it was in January of the next year, I drove all the way back, and we leave the dock like 3 a.m. We go out there. Dude, we chummed from 3 a.m. we went out there. We left at probably like 7 p.m. Not one, we did not get one again. And it was like, oh my God, I was losing my mind, dude. I'm like, I was like determined, but man. And also, every time, this is after I left Barstool, I'm paying for camera guys, a photographer, I'm paying Chip, I'm paying hotels, I'm paying, dude. And I was like hemorrhaging money, like that I didn't have out of my own stuff. And I'm like, oh my God. So we went back another time, dude, the fourth time. And I'm telling you, every time this is like travel to Hilton Head. You got to get there a day before. I'm renting these Airbnbs, hotels, all the stuff. I'm staying in this, dude. And we freaking, the fourth time, we left the dock at 3 a.m. We were grinding. At 4:15 p.m., we got a bite. Dude, think of how long, like, this is now multiple years this has been going on. We left the dock at 3 a.m. At 4:15, we got the bite. Dude, you know when you're fishing. And it's not like we're seeing them or there is no sign of it all day, like nothing. And it was like, dude, when that rod went off, and you know when it's a great white, they hit a certain way in the way they run. And Chip looked at me, bro, I was like shaking. I was like numb. Like it was the most like nerve-wracking, scary thing. And dude, we ended up catching it. I've never been so nervous in my entire life because that's a long fight too. I mean, we had it on for hours. Dude, it went under the boat because the craziest thing about a great white is they will turn and come back at the boat. That's like this weird thing they do. They're very smart. They will run, I think, because we have it on film. I think it ran for like 8 straight minutes. And I'm talking on a 130 wide lockdown, like as hard as it can go, ran for 8 minutes. And I'm not talking like it ran, I'm talking screaming for 8 minutes, like smoking it. Dude, we're like pouring water on the reel. There's like steam coming off it. Bro, it turns and comes straight back at the boat because they're just, I don't know, they're so smart. And he's like, real, 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 real. Because they're trying to, with all that slack, after this long, I'm like, we cannot lose this fish. I don't know if I would have recovered. I might have lost my mind. The line got wrapped on these barnacles underneath the boat. I jumped in because, dude, this was like do or die. I didn't care if I got bitten in half. I'm like, this is my like life's mission. I jumped in with the mask and swam under and cleared the line off these barnacles while the shark was down there. And then we ended up getting tight to it again because we had it in free spool when it was around the barnacles. Ended up coming tight to it, fighting it, dude, hours long. And then when we got it up to the boat, dude, the footage, it's like I was like literally screaming, like, in like Castaway or something when they're like, the
Yeah.
boat finally cut. Like I was screaming like a madman. I don't even know how to describe it. It's almost like embarrassing when I watch it. It was like a soul altering experience because, dude, it was like almost, I don't know how to say it, like not like Moby Dick, but it was like kind of like one of those things where you lose your mind in the process of like trying to find this and catch this animal. And then when we did it, it was almost like surreal. Like I don't even know how, it was like almost like you couldn't believe that it actually happened. And it was almost like you couldn't process that, like, wait, this thing that I've dreamed about now is in the past tense. It's like, wait, what do I even like hope for anymore? It was crazy, dude. And like,
Yeah.
I gotta be honest, man. I love all sorts of different animals, all these things. That specific shark, when it came up next to the boat, I don't think I've ever seen a more beautiful animal in my entire life. And I'm talking, dude, it was glowing. Like when you see this footage, I didn't know this. The great white up close, and this is in the foot, like you'll be able to see it. It has like a reflective surface on its skin. You could see my hand moving like a mirror in the reflection of its skin. I have never seen something like this in my life on a shark, dude. Like it's not like a ribbon fish or some sort of. It was the most gorgeous animal. It's like glowing this like bright blue, purple, white, like I genuinely think like a great white like that, it's like a mythical creature, dude. I don't even know how to describe it. It was like the only thing that's sad to me, I've watched the footage a billion trillion hours, but it's like that actual time that I saw it in real life, it's like it will never be enough. Do you know what I mean? It's like I'm sure when you've caught like really big, like beautiful fish that you love, it's like that actual time that you get to spend with that animal is like, it's just not enough, dude. You know, it's like it's there and it's gone, and it's like, I mean, we tagged it. It's not like I didn't get to see it, but like, man, I wish, if anything, I just want to get another one too. But it's like, I just want to see more of them up close. They're such a like insane animal, dude. Like, you know how like certain animals get a lot of hype
Right.
and maybe they're like not all what they really are,
Yeah.
bro. It's hard to describe. You get chills. Like when you see that thing, it is larger than life. There's a reason why Jaws exists, and it's like one of the most famous animals on Earth. They are just incredible, man. I don't know. I couldn't be more in love with that thing. It was the coolest thing in my life, man. I don't know.
So I'm guessing you would say that would be the catch that you're proudest of so far.
I mean, it has to be because of it's everything. No matter, right now, I've been obsessed with these pythons and all that stuff for different reasons. I mean, it's new, it's different. It's like, it's also accessible, right? Like, I love fishing. I don't have the ability to go catch a great white every day. I don't have a giant boat, all the money for the fuel and all. Like, that's like a thing that's an excursion. Like, when I go do that, it's not an everyday thing. The cool thing about these pythons right now is that I can go out there and find a 16 footer. Like, there's nothing stop. It's, gas money for that. It's a lot less than, you know, fueling a boat to drive out 100 miles off South Carolina. That's pretty tough. So right now I've been like obsessed with that, but my whole life before that, it's fishing's always been my number one. And I know people don't like sharks, or they don't care, don't think of them as game fish. That's always just been my favorite and most fascinated animal. And the great white to me is the pinnacle. And you know what's funny? When they get that big, dude, the tackle we're using for that, and that to me, I know people try to downplay sharks and trying to whatever, compared to other sport fish. Catching a great white is up there with, I will say this confidently. Catching a great white, the scale, dude, we were having them bite through like, 2,000-pound cable and stuff. It's like there is a level of tackle and expertise when it comes to an animal like that, that I would put that up there with any type of sport fish or game fish that people like to, you know, say, like, be elitist and say is better than other fish or sharks or whatever. So when you get to an animal as intelligent as a great white, they are so smart. You can't just chunk out. It's not like another shark where you're just going to put a chunk of meat and they're going to eat it. They are so smart, dude. This thing, we have it on the drone circling like 5 times, staring at. Like, they're so smart. They'll see the hook. They'll do whatever. It's like, that is a tactical nightmare to try to get them to bite. It's like, yeah, that's my, like, at the end of the day, fishing and shark fishing, all that's my favorite thing. That's by far my most proud catch, just because, dude, there's nothing tops a great white. There's just nothing. Also, the amount, like, Chip, I'm pretty sure, I got to look. I know it was at like 38. Maybe, I'm trying to think of this past season. He might be at like 42 max. I think Frank Mundus caught like 27 or something. Like, there is, as Chip told me, there's more people that have been to space than have caught a great white on rod and reel. I don't know if that's 100% true, but that's like what he told me. To catch a great white on rod and reel, especially intentionally, I mean, there's got to be less than, 500, 200 people total in the history of Earth. I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong. Yeah, that's by far my most, I would say that one. There's been other fish that also I'm very proud of just because of personal journeys. Do you know what I mean? Like, there's certain
Yeah,
times where,
absolutely. Like you could catch a 25-inch trout, lake trout from shore, and
if
it's
you were like really trying to figure it out, and like you were like, when I caught my first clown knife fish, I was like studying, oh man, how do I find these things? What do they eat? Like, I was like looking on forums from 10 years ago, like studying
right. Yeah,
canal maps. And like, then when I caught it, I was like, oh my God, I can't believe this worked. Like that, there's like little adventures that, I don't know. I mean, that's both like in fishing, it's just a puzzle, as you know, where like there's certain puzzles that, even though the fish might not be the most impressive, you're like, I cannot believe that just from myself, no one helping me like figure that out, that means a lot too. Even if the fish isn't that
Right.
crazy,
Yeah, definitely.
like that's fun too. But I don't know, man. The great white was just so goddamn cool. And like that big python felt like that too, because that was a puzzle I was trying to solve. And I knew I'd seen other people catch ones or like whatever. And I'm like, I know that statistically, like you can do the math sometimes, right? Where you're like, I know I'm in the right place. And there's nothing stopping you from catching a certain thing or like being able to. And you see other people doing it and you're like, I know I could do that. And like crazy at first because you're like, why haven't I been able to do it? So then when it happens, that feels really good too because you're like, I saw people doing this and I know that I could do it. And it takes a very long, like that one was cool too because man, I'm like trying to catch giant snakes is a lonely business, dude. You're out there from 7 p.m. to 4 a.m. or 5 a.m. with nobody helping you. No one, dude, you're just like, your eyes are glazing over by yourself. I'm talking 8, 10 hours straight with no one. You see nothing. Like, I'm not talking like, oh, you catch little ones. I'm talking you may catch zero things the entire night. So when you finally get it, it's very vindicating because you're like, I freaking knew that this could happen. And then, like, of course, everyone's like, dude, that's sick. I'm like, yeah, bro, like you haven't been here for the past 7 months of me going
Right.
4 days a week, burning gas. You know what I mean? So that one meant a lot too for a very different reason. But it's like, obviously, I'm a fishing guy first and foremost. So that's always going to mean the most to me is that gray white. That's a lifetime. That's something I'll show my kids someday. It's like, it's just so cool, man. It's also, I'm sure you felt like this when you've caught stuff that's like your most special. It's like, you just feel grateful because I'm like, damn, dude. Like there is an element of like not luck, but like you got to be blessed by Mother Nature at some point. Like you can work as hard as you want. They're animals, dude. Like at some point, you got to be in the right place, right time, and have them kind of like be present where you are. And it's like once you catch them, you're like, dude, I'm so grateful that shark was there that day, that python. It's like if they weren't, I'd be screwed. It's like you got to kind of like get not lucky because it is work, but like at some point they got to like give you a bounce. I mean, really for me, I have to put it out. I'm an idiot because I get so hung up on filming this stuff and editing it and having it be this epic tale of, a documentary and all. It's like, I think that is, for me personally, I love doing it, but I also love the art of putting it out and kind of like creating a story, right? Like I love Zane Grey, but the reason I grew up being obsessed with Zane Grey is because I would read his books talking about his crazy fishing stories. And it's like at some point he sat and wrote them down and published a book. You know what I mean? It's like that's the part of it that for me I'm not as good at. And it's like that's the first thing. That being said, I'm excited for that to come out because at the end of the day, dude, I love showing people the stuff. Like it's cool catching it. I also love like, dude, getting to tell you that story is so like that's so cool to me because it was such a life-changing cool experience that it's like getting to share that with you is like insane. Like it's so fun for me. You know what I mean? Where it's like, okay, like that is like just not just as important because like when it happened, dude, I didn't care if I ever put it in that moment. I'm like, that was like a soul fulfilling thing where I'm like, I don't care if this ever comes out. I just wanted to do this. That being said, I would say, I think the one thing is it was about like 10 and a half feet and like 750 pounds. I want to get a grander. And that's something that I know that's like nitpicky, but like getting a fish over 1,000 pounds is just like something that I think is like, obviously back in the day they would do it a lot with big blue marlin or black marlin or like maybe I don't know, probably not a swordfish, probably tough, but it's like it was a rare animal to catch something that big. Getting something over 1,000 in a true like 14, 15 foot or more, that's something I talk to Chip Michael of every day. And that's something I would say is on my list of like Because, like, that's the only thing. It was a great white, and it was a giant great white. It was huge. But, like, I want to get, like, a true colossal, like, undeniable over 1,000-pound fish. I had one on, and it was like, I mean, dude, I can't even describe how big it's like. It felt like being hooked up to like a mobile home or something. Like it's like you can't even feel. It's like trying to like reel in your car. You know what I mean? Like it doesn't even react to the same things normal fish does. That being said, without saying bigger, I've been lucky enough. I caught a mako in Montauk. I caught a thresher in Montauk, both with Mikey Finneguera. That was two of my bucket lists. Like, dude, a thresher shark's one of the coolest animals I've ever seen. You know, it's a same, dude. Same with a mako. Like that's something too. You guys have more up north. I hadn't really seen those up close. So seeing that in person, oh my god, dude, the mako I caught actually bit Mikey's dad on the arm. It was the nastiest. That was kind of scary, dude. And I felt bad because out in Montauk and a lot of those older like generation of shark guys, they kill all those, and I didn't want to kill it, and we tagged it. And because I was advocating for like, no, we can't kill it, dude. We gotta, save it. Mikey's dad ended up getting bit. Like if we just killed it or brought on the boat, I'm sure he wouldn't have got bit. So I felt really bad about that. I was like, damn, dude.
Damn.
Luckily he was okay, but it was scary in the moment. So I was like, damn, like I felt a little bit guilty. But those were two of the ones. I caught a tiger with chip, which like I'm just a shark guy. I love that stuff. I would say I caught a swordfish with Nick, a sailfish this summer with these guys, the sea specialists in Miami, my boys. Shout out to Captain Lando, Ari. But man, I don't know. It's interesting because as I'm sure as you get older and end up, checking off stuff that you've really wanted to do, it's funny. Like I gotta think, dude, what my next kind of like. I caught a big sawfish. I would like to, I guess, catch those things and film them in a like documenting it to me is a really cool part of the process. Like I'm kind of like I love fishing, but I think half of the reason I love it is being able to video the stuff once I catch it. Like I love getting cool footage of like really crazy animals. So I would love to get like a really cool footage of a sawfish, threshers. I mean, we did get pretty crazy stuff with the thresher, but it's like I don't know, man. That's a good question. I would say I've never caught a marlin. Like that would be something that's cool, but I don't do as much offshore stuff. I don't know. I've never caught a permit. That's something I need to do, even though my best friend literally is one of the best permit fishermen I know, and he just never takes me out. That's a separate thing. Him and his dad have caught over 100-something permit on fly, and they'll never take me out. I'm like, bro, like, so I want to catch a permit. It's a good question. I think putting the stuff out right now has kind of been my log jam of like what's stopping me from focusing on the next thing. But that big python up until a couple weeks ago was my number one target of like, I wanted to get a 15 plus python. And every time you catch something that, you were kind of aiming for a long time, there's almost like a little zone of like reconfiguring your priorities where you're like, all right, what's next?
Yep.
I think I'm still in that zone right now. You know what I mean?
No, I got you.
I got to put it out. That's the biggest thing is like, I can't
get it out there.
That's my biggest weakness, man, is like, I get so excited that I did the stuff that I think sometimes I'm like slower to actually capitalize on it because I'm just so excited I did it, but.
Right. No, that makes sense.
Once all this stuff comes out, I think it's a natural feeling too, where like, once you've shown people, your brain starts thinking, all right, what's the craziest thing? What could I do next? You know what I mean? It's like, it gets harder as you go too. It's a pyramid. I mean, when you put out the great white, it's like, all right, now I got to get a bigger one. And
right,
as you know,
exactly,
it gets so much harder. It's marginal returns. If you've caught a 1,000-pound marlin, well, guess what? It's going to be harder to catch an 1,100-pound one. You know what I mean? It's like it gets harder as it goes. But
yeah,
I don't know. I think just getting better at documenting it, putting it out, and like, there's just so many cool things out there that it's like, I think it naturally comes up. I see the cool thing about social media. I hate so many aspects of it, but the cool thing is it's so easy to go on there and be inspired by things where you're like, oh my God, like I didn't even know you could do this. Like I want to go try to do that, you know? So that's something that's cool to me.
Definitely, man. Definitely. Next thing we got to do is get you up here for a video, man. We'll do a striper
1,000%,
blackfish
bro.
video, something like that.
Man, I miss New York. I miss Brooklyn. I miss all that area, dude. I'm telling you, it's funny when I lived there. I think I felt a little bit trapped sometimes being in Manhattan, but it's like once you leave, I mean, you kind of appreciate it differently. And I see videos from up there. I'm like, man, I definitely miss kind of like there's just such a special energy around that city of like it's just the center of the world when you're there. There's just like that whole region from New Jersey up to Montauk and like that whole fishery is just like it's just a crazy place, man. I really love
Definitely,
I loved
bro.
my time there. It's like
Definitely.
I don't know.
Well,
I
let,
really,
let
really
me
like
let
it.
me know, man. We'll set something up.
Dude, I think back when I was living there, I know we talked about doing stuff a bunch of times. I remember like
Yeah, yeah.
I used
I
to
think
message you guys off the
Yep.
Barstool Outdoors account. I don't know what ended up happening, but we should have done something back then, dude. I know we talked about it a few times. I'm sure it was my fault or something, but we
It's
got
all
to
right.
get a video,
I
dude.
think it
We
had
have
something
to.
to do with weather too. I think we were trying to do it in the fall.
Yeah, I do
So
remember that, man. It's funny. I can't go back. I had to give the password to that account over to them when I left, so I can't go back and look at the
it's all
messages.
right.
But
No
I'm sure it's
worries.
in there somewhere, man. But
No worries.
man, I miss New York a ton. I think it'd be fun to do a trip. We could do a couple videos, dude. You know, I'll come up there for
Definitely,
a week or
man.
so, and
I'll put you on some trout too. I do a lot of trout
dude,
fishing, big trout.
bro, I just think it would be cool because it's funny, like you say, it all depends on the region too. Like I think when I was doing videos in Central Park, catching even like whatever nuclear carp and stuff are in there, I think that's cool too because no one knows that you can catch that there. It's like
Right.
it doesn't
Exactly.
always have to be like. I think one thing that people don't get when it comes to like videos, it's like it doesn't always have to be the biggest, craziest, most insane animal. It's like it's about the adventure of it, like catching a carp in Central Park was just as wild and crazy to me as like if you're down here, you catch 100-pound tarpon. Obviously, most people are going to think that's more like, prestigious, but like, dude, there's a millions. I see tarpon every day here. It's like, I'm not saying it's easy, but it's like catching a fish in Central Park is like a totally different adventure,
Yeah,
So I
it's a
think there's value in everything.
whole other quest unlocked. I
Dude,
always say if you could catch
Gowanus Canal, dude, that's what we got to do,
Yep,
bro.
we could do that. I always say if you could catch fish in Central Park or in Prospect Park, you could catch fish anywhere on the planet.
Dude, it's crazy up there, bro. Like I'd be fishing in Harlem. I caught some girl's jeans. Like who knows how those got in there?
Yeah,
Like,
exactly. Exactly, dude.
dude, fishing in Harlem. What's that? What's that one in It's like 126 or something. I forgot the entrance to
Yeah,
it.
Harlem Mere.
Whatever.
Harlem Mere.
Yes, bro. Yes, that's what it's called. 100%. Yes, I forgot about that. Dude, fishing up there is crazy, bro. It's
Dude, hit
nuts.
me up. We'll do it. We'll do a freshwater session. We'll do it all. Before we wrap up, one last reminder. The Brooklyn Fishing Club membership is live. 2 bonus podcast episodes every month, discounts, free gear, and access to our trips and events. It's only $100 for the year. Go to brooklynfishingclub.com and lock in your membership today.
I'm telling you, that is a underappreciated. Like people do not understand how like
I know
there's
they just
bro,
did a
there
bunch
are
of
fish there.
construction though, and they actually fucked up the whole lake.
I'm sure, man.
Yeah,
It's a mess, but it's like
yeah.
it's just crazy, man. I love like I think one thing, to be honest with you, growing up in Missouri, it's interesting because I kind of have this weird love and appreciation for fishing in like weird little like I don't know, like stupid or like, places that aren't some prestigious, like trip to the Amazon. But it's like I used to fish in this like lake across from Kirkwood Ice Rink in St. Louis, like these tiny little places, but like there's animals there, there's fish there. Like it's fun. That's one thing about New York. It's like just like there's this place, what is it, like Turtleback Zoo or something in New Jersey. I'd go fish.
Well, Turtle Pond in the lake. I don't know Saddleback, but
There's one in New Jersey. I think it's like Green Mountain or some sort of like I used to live by there. Dude, there's so many little holes and nooks and crannies, and it's
Oh
like,
yeah, dude, you could catch
just
snakehead in Central or in Queens. You know that?
that's crazy, dude.
Yeah,
That's so crazy.
my buddy has caught him up to 35 inches there, dude.
That is crazy. You know what? I think maybe, you know what? I honestly think that's what we might have been talking about whenever we were going to do something back
I
then.
think it was either that or it was back when we had that big run, big run of bluefin tuna, and
Oh, yeah, man.
black tip came through. Everybody wanted to come through because we had the bluefin tuna game unlocked.
Dude, it's literally like I remember that honestly because I remember being like, dude, I had never ever like caught a snakehead. I actually caught my first one down here in Florida, but I remember at that time being like, the fact that I was reading those articles, it's probably like your guys' stuff, and I'm like, dude, like I want to catch a snakehead in Queens. Like I remember like looking that up, almost being in disbelief. I'm like, are they really in Queens? You know what I'm saying? It's crazy.
Oh,
dude.
they are, man. That could be a whole episode right there. We could do that. My buddy has him scoped out. He's like locked in on him.
Really, man. See, I like that kind of stuff too. Like weird things that you wouldn't expect to be in that spot, or like, there's just so many like hidden tales of fisheries that like people just don't realize. Like being from Missouri, I think that gave me actually an advantage because that stuff is cool. I would be way more fascinated. Like if I grew up down here, I may not have an appreciation for like going to Queens to catch a thing because like a lot of people I know down here, it's like they're so like not spoiled, but they've been catching tuna and sailfish and swordfish their whole life. It's like they're so used to this like pristine, beautiful fishery. It's like I think I like that random stuff that you would have never seen coming. Like I love that kind of stuff,
Me too, dude. I think that's part of the reason why Brooklyn Fishing Club is, done so well because Urban Fishing Club, nobody saw it coming. And it's just like the snakehead.
And dude, nobody ever thinks like even just the name Brooklyn Fishing Club. It's like, wait, Brooklyn? Like what? You can fish? Like I think that's like such a cool starting point,
Definitely, dude. Definitely. We gotta get you up here, man. Hopefully.
Dude, I'm telling you, man, I'm as soon as we can get it, like we should do that because dude, I really do. It's funny. When I was there, I was always like, I see animals like my favorite animals and crazy stuff every single day now living in Florida. And I love it. But I definitely do like miss elements of New York where it's like I don't know. It's tough. I'm sure if I moved back there, I would miss this. But I mean, that's just like the price of anywhere,
Course,
it's like, but I definitely want to make a trip or two there. Cause it's like, I miss it, dude. There's so many things that are like, even like the little raccoons and squirrels and like, dude, I'd be in Central Park fishing. You could like shake hands with those raccoons, dude. They'd be like
100%.
walking on your feet, It's like, it's a crazy place,
It is. It is. Definitely is, man. Yep. Well, let me know, dude, and we'll figure something out.
Man. All right. Well, I'm telling you, the fall's pretty good for striper stuff, isn't it? Right?
Yeah, fall is going to be a prime time for stripers, for snakehead, for trout, for everything. So,
dude, let me I got to look at some dates because we have some python hunts coming up here, and I'm filming with these like NASCAR guys. But after that, I wonder we should try to get a week or something because, dude, I think there's a lot of like because the other thing too, I try to tell my buddies this. I'm like, dude, if we're going to just fish in Central Park, like it doesn't always have the payoff doesn't have to be in 1,000-pound animal. It's
right.
like it's the story. Like if we go there and we're getting the halal cart before going to fish, it's like that's funny. Like that's interesting. Yep. You know what I'm saying? Like
that's what we'll do. Dude, I've got this other boat too. Well, you're gonna be here in the fall, but there's this one fishing boat that we have in South Brooklyn. There's a couple that I love that like you could catch the fish and they'll cook it up on the boat. Like there's a few hidden gems I could definitely put you onto around here, bro, for sure.
Dude, it's so cool, man. It's so cool. I think we could do like 3 or 4 episodes
Absolutely,
up there, man. You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
Like I really do.
Awesome, man. Well, let me know, dude. It was great having you on the show today.
Yeah, dude, I appreciate it, man. Sorry for all the coordinating and schedule stuff.
No,
I've been
it's all
over
good,
the
dude. I
place
know
and-
how it gets. I appreciate you spending the time with us. Definitely.
Dude, yeah, 100%. Then I freaking, bro, my car got hit by a tow truck, and I've been trying to buy a new car, and all. It's just been a mess,
Oh
dude.
my
So
God.
I've been all over the place. I'm sorry, dude, but I
It's all
appreciate
good,
it.
brother. We'll be fishing soon. Let me know.
Yes, sir. All right, man. I'll talk to you soon.
All right, have a good one, man. I'll talk to you soon.
All right,
Bye.
see you, man.
Don't
Bye.
you walk on me.